The Ultimate Fighting Championship, or UFC, is the premier mixed martial arts promotion with over 700 active fighters on their roster from 71 different countries. Fighters' pay has been a hot topic among former fighters, fans, and other people involved with the organization. In this video, we are going to talk about some things Brock Lesnar recently said about his pay during his time in the UFC, and how he compared UFC President Dana White to WWE CEO Vince McMahon. Thanks for tuning in. First, let's talk about fighters' pay in the UFC. Many have voiced their disapproval at the perceived low pay, while fighters are literally putting their lives on the line. While the amount of work is the same from fighter to fighter, the pay gaps between UFC stars and undercard fighters are radically different. There are incentives such as winning the fight, and there are opportunities for bonuses such as submission of the night, fight of the night, performance of the night, and knockout of the night. However, when a fighter does not manage to earn a bonus, his or her pay is usually relatively low, especially if they are not headlining the event or are not huge stars. According to International Business Times, there are 3 pay tiers a fighter can fall into, ranging from low to medium to high. The low tier fighters are pulling between $10,000 and $30,000, while the high tier fighters are pulling in $500,000 to $3 million. On average, UFC fighters are making around $150,000 a year, with huge outliers like Conor McGregor, who made $52 million his last 2 fights. The harsh reality of the situation is that the fighters are putting their health and well-being on the line each time they step out for a fight. Fighters will risk having long-term health issues relating to the brain such as Alzheimer's and dementia, so they deserve to be paid more. Concussions and knockouts happen often and can be extremely detrimental to one's mental health and longevity. The UFC makes an exuberant amount of money, and most analysts agree with the fact that they can bring the base pay for all the fighters up a bit. It's a hot button issue, and when Dana White gets asked about it, he typically gets uncomfortable and angry. If the UFC is pulling in an estimated $50 million an event, they can absolutely pay their hardworking athletes a bit more. Up next, we'll talk about Brock Lesnar and briefly about his background. Brock was born on July 12, 1977 in Webster, South Dakota. He grew up with his parents, Stephanie and Richard, on their dairy farm in Webster. He is the third child out of 4, with 2 older brothers and 1 younger sister. A gifted athlete from a young age, he played football and wrestled in high school. He then went to Bismarck State College, where he won the National Junior College Athletic Association Heavyweight Championship his sophomore year. He then got a wrestling scholarship to go to the University of Minnesota. His junior year, he came in second in the National Collegiate Athletic Association, or NCAA, Division I Heavyweight Wrestling Championship. Then, in 2000, he won the NCAA Division I Heavyweight Wrestling Championship. He is one of the most decorated college wrestlers with an overall record of 106 wins and 5 losses. Also in 2000, he signed with the WWF, where he worked his way up to the headlining main roster by 2002. He would find immense success in professional wrestling, even becoming the WWE champion in August of 2002. In 2007, he would make his MMA debut under the K1 Mixed Martial Arts promotion. Lesnar would win his first fight via submission by strikes at 1 minute 9 seconds of the first round. Brock would later sign a deal with the UFC during UFC 77 in October of 2007. On February 2, 2008, Brock would make his UFC debut at UFC 81 Breaking Point. He fought Frank Mir and was winning the fight via ground and pound until Mir secured a knee bar at 1 minute 30 seconds of the first round, prompting Brock to tap out. His next fight in the UFC would be against Heath Herring at UFC 87. This fight would go the distance, with Lesnar winning via decision as all the judges scored the fight 30-26 for a unanimous win. Brock would then get his title shot against Randy Couture at UFC 91. Brock would dominate the fight both on the feet and on the ground, earning himself a win via technical knockout and winning the UFC heavyweight belt. With Frank Mir winning the UFC interim heavyweight belt, a unification match was set between Mir and Lesnar on July 11, 2009 at UFC UFC 100. Lesnar would win via nasty ground and pound, securing himself as the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion of the world. He would then have to take time off due to illness. Another interim title fight was set up between Shane Carwin and Frank Mir, with Carwin coming up on top. Another unification fight was made between Carwin and Lesnar on July 3, 2010 at UFC 116. Lesnar secured an arm triangle early in the second round to crown himself the undisputed heavyweight champ again. On October 23, 2010, Brock would attempt to defend his belt again against Cain Velasquez. Cain would come out on top, winning via TKO due to his superior striking. He would fight again in June of 2016 at UFC 200 against Mark Hunt. He would win this fight due to a unanimous decision. He would then be suspended in July of 2016 when he tested positive for a banned substance by USADA, the anti-doping agency. Lesnar would eventually be fined $250,000 and had his win over Mark Hunt turned into a no contest. He would retire from MMA at this point and has not returned to the octagon since. Throughout his illustrious career, he has shown incredible athleticism, an ability to perform under pressure, and the ability to entertain and promote his matches and fights. All of these things make him a valuable asset to any promotion or organization. Up next, we will talk about what Brock said regarding his pay in the UFC versus his pay in WWE. When talking to Pat McAfee, Lesnar commented about his relationships with Dana White and Vince McMahon when he said, "Dana's alright, I've got a lot of money from him. I probably should have got paid more maybe. I really can't compare the two guys. Honestly, my relationship with Vince is so different than with Dana over the years. Vince and I have had a love-hate relationship for the last 20 years, but it's been good. We've got a lot of water under the bridge. I have a lot of respect for both men. Dealing with Dana is just a totally different approach. I met Vince when I was younger. I look at Vince more as a father figure actually. I've learned a lot of things from him and I was able to carry those things over and handle business with Dana. Vince is a self-made person, so is Dana." In this quote, it seems that Brock has great respect for both men. As one of the highest paid UFC fighters, it seems he doesn't have the same objections to fighter pay that many other UFC fighters have. His relationship with McMahon is a much closer relationship compared to the purely business relationship he has with White. While many people rightfully protest under the UFC fighter's pay, Lesnar, although he may believe he should have earned more, really made quite a bit more than the average UFC fighter. His fame from WWE, along with his gigantic stature and unforgettable personality, made him a big money maker for the UFC, which is why he got paid quite a bit more than the average. It all comes down to the number of fans a fighter is drawing, how much of the draw he brings, to calculate how much he will get paid. So it really becomes an issue for the unknown fighters who are fighting just as hard as the stars, who deserve to be paid quite a bit more. Lastly, we are going to talk about what's up next for Brock Lesnar. Brock has returned to WWE, appearing at SummerSlam on August 21, 2021. He is now a free agent and can appear at any of the WWE shows. He competed in the latest Royal Rumble and won for the second time in 19 years. He lives on a farm with his wife, Rena Greek, also known as Sable, in Mayfield, Saskatchewan. The two live a quiet life and due to Brock's disdain for the media, live very privately and sheltered. He supports the Republican Party and the NRA and rarely gives any interviews. His three sons all play ice hockey and the whole family are huge fans of the Canadian Football League's Saskatchewan Roughriders. The amazing athlete known as the Beast, Brock Lesnar, has captured the imagination of fans around the world with his abilities in professional wrestling, freestyle wrestling, and MMA. He will go down in history as one of the greatest athletes of this generation, and even though his MMA record isn't the best, he was UFC champion and defended his belt twice. We hope you enjoyed this video about Brock Lesnar, UFC pay, and how it compares to that of WWE. We hope you have a great day and come back and watch more soon. Thanks for watching!